Hi, this is Terry Damlos with Open Doors Center, a unique educational program here in Phoenix, Arizona. I wanted to talk a little bit about how children learn in this program. We have children learn from their passions. They come up with what it is that they're really interested in, and then we, the guides, develop a curriculum for them. What I'd like to do is give you an example from one of the students at Open Doors. This young boy was very interested in hover cars, and he really wanted to build a hover car. So he came and he said, "Terry, how am I going to build a hover car?" And my response is, "I don't know. Let's start to explore how that might happen." So we did some research, and he decided some things that he was going to need in order to build a hover car. So he would say, could you get me a leaf blower? Could you get me an air tire? And after about 3 weeks of trying many different combinations of things, he and his fellow classmates created a hover car, which actually held a little 3-year-old girl, got off the ground, and away they went. In the process of doing this, he discovered that there is actually a company in Davis, California that's already created hover cars, and he wanted to write them a letter. Another perfect example of a time to learn. So we went online, and I helped him discover how to write a business letter. And so he wrote a very nice business letter to his company in Davis, which did respond to him and actually ended up inviting him up to see the hover car that they built. So after he finished building the hover car, he decided he wanted to travel around the world. So I said, "Where do you want to go?" So he started looking through different books and places that he thought would be interesting. The Nazca Lines in Peru, the Eiffel Tower. And I said, "Well, you need to find out about these things." So he spent much time really learning about these places and things that he would do when he got there. Then he said, "Well, I've got to get my route. Which one am I going to go to first? What is second?" So he pulls out the world map, and after much time and energy, he figures out the route, which one he would go to first, looking at their location, how far apart they were. He discovered that we have miles here in the United States, they have kilometers over in Europe. He had to change the miles into kilometers, and so once again, he touched on all subjects by doing this passion project. There was math involved, there was geography, there was history, there were hands-on experience. It was an incredible learning experience for this young man. And as I mentioned, he was invited back up to Davis, California to see an actual hover car. So that is one example of the way children learn. And oftentimes I get the question, well, that's great, but what about the kids that don't know how to read yet, or they don't know how to write yet? How do they learn? And my response is they learn like they would in any kind of regular school. The difference is it's their desire to learn to read or learn to write that starts that process. It's not because you're in kindergarten you have to know A, B, C, and D, and you have to know it really well in kindergarten and before you go on to first grade. Maybe a child isn't ready to learn how to read or write at that point. Or maybe they're far beyond that. Maybe they're very interested in mathematics, and so at 5 years old they're learning multiplication and division. The big difference at Open Doors Center and other centers that are opening around the world that are very similar is that the children learn because they want to learn. And they learn what they want to learn because they're ready. Are goals set? Yes, we set goals when we sit down and identify what the passion project is or what is it that you want to learn to do. But we go way beyond the goals because there's so much enrichment that's involved in it. And so these children really, really are enjoying what it is that they're learning. They integrate it into their true selves. And not only that, but they find ways to take their knowledge back out into the community. And so they see their oneness with everything that is, and that they are part of a larger community. It's an amazing journey. Children are doing remarkably well. And so once again, I encourage you to look and explore this option and see how it may fit for your child. It is very unique, but it is very special and very wonderful. Your child will really enjoy that and learn more than you would ever expect them to learn.